welcome back to Taya's YouTube channel. Since my last video, I've actually managed to build those two portals and install them on the diorama. I don't know if you can see it here, one here and one down there. And they look quite nice. They'll do just fine. So today I'm going to get started on carving the mountains, the mountain backdrop. In order to do that, I need to stack two of these boards on top of one another for the height, but I find that one whole board on the bottom is too much, so I'm going to cut a number of these in half. Since my mishap with my hot wire tool, not my sculpting tool, it's working fine, but it's not very suitable for cutting straight lines. I'm getting a tensor from the company. I'm going to be purchasing a tensor to keep the wire taut, but in the meantime, my sculpting tool, of course, is broken. But hot wire foam factory customer service is fantastic, even on a Saturday. They responded immediately to my crisis, and I'm going to be purchasing a couple of new tools as well. And they're very good about helping people out that are in a bit of a pickle. In the meantime, I've borrowed a hot knife cutter from a friend of mine. It's pretty intimidating looking machine here, and it's a little bit frightening to use. It also emits quite a bit more gas than the hot wire foam factory tools. So in the meantime, I'm going to be using them because I have no idea how long I have to wait for the tools. But we'll see how this works. I've never used it before. Let's just see how it works. This time I'm wearing a mask. I've drawn a line down the center here, dividing it in half. So I just need to follow the line as best as I can. Oh, life is just like through butter. The problem is I can't stop. Once you start cutting, you need to keep cutting. Because if you stop, the lady who lent it to me said, if you stop, it will make it an uneven little squiggly line. So don't stop. See the smoke that's coming off of this? Not the best. Okay, so I have the two pieces cut. I'm going to do two more. Let this cool down for the time being. Make sure the blade doesn't touch anything. So now I'm going to measure out exactly half and draw a line on the styrofoam. As a guide to follow, to make sure it's exactly the same length and height as the other ones that I actually put up, just to see how they would look. Now you can see a little better. I'm drawing the guideline here on the styrofoam to ensure that it's all an even size and it sits perfectly straight on the diorama. Exactly half. Alright, let's try this again. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Done! Alright, so I've measured out a piece that fits on the very end of the diorama, and this is going to be the entire size of it. I found that if I had two pieces of the same size as this, it would be too high, and I would run into problems. So I'm going to limit myself to this height. And now I'm going to glue them together. I'm not going to glue the pieces to each other because I want to take them down by sections and carve them once they're glued. Once the glue is sticking and the pieces are solidly together, then I will start carving the mountains out, and that's going to be very interesting. Last year, of all my videos, those were the ones that had the most views, was how I carved my three-dimensional mountains in a two-dimensional fashion. I wish I had clamps so I could clamp them together, but I don't. So I simply have to leave them and hope they stick. I have the other piece in the diorama on the other side, and I will measure its corresponding. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. I don't have to cut it. So I will glue these as well. I'm not at all sure that that's going to work this way. I may have to get another glue. I find this white glue is a little bit tricky. It's okay for small pieces, but it doesn't really hold well with larger pieces. I do have another glue that's just for foam, but that means I have to get my long gun out because it's one of those tube things that you have to put into a gun and use it that way. And it works really, really well. The other thing that I wanted to point out to you was after my mountains are all done, I'm going to be stringing up my, putting the houses on the diorama and deciding where the lights are going to go. And I found this was suggested to me by a male friend, that when I go to put the lights through my styrofoam, I get myself one of these bits. And it's very, oh, if it would be in there properly, I guess. I have to tighten it up. And you simply drill the hole through. And that's where your light would go through. I think it's ingenious. The tricks of the trade. However, it leaves a plug of styrofoam in your bit, so you have to get that out. But that will be fun when I get to that stage. This is actually the glue that probably would work better. It's LePage's Construction Adhesive. It's 300. It's the foam board glue. However, I have to get my holder out of the storage to make this work. So that's it for today. We've had some fun working with the styrofoam to develop the mountain range at the back of the diorama. Next will be the planning and the carving of the mountains. I will show you my unique process of turning a thin piece of styrofoam into three-dimensional mountains. This is a process I developed last year, and unless someone has copied it, I'm still the only person on YouTube to make mountains this way. So until step number 5 in a few days, wishing you peace and blessings. Goodbye.